What's up, everybody? Welcome to the High Level Husband Podcast. I'm Tommy McAllister, rolling solo, and this one right here is going to be hard hitting. And I think it's been a much anticipated one because this viral post that we did a while back got shared by so many people. And I had so many people across the country who I know who shared it with me after they said that family members had shared it with them, not knowing we were connected. I had a friend of mine who lives in Louisiana whose church played this one at their church. And they didn't know that he knew me and all these different aspects. And it's really cool what's been happening. But this is on the truth about travel sports, what it's really costing your marriage, your faith, and your family. It's a tough one because I don't know if you know what age group you are, but when we were growing up, travel sports weren't really a big thing. I remember it being something that people did a little bit in soccer and a tiny bit in baseball, but it wasn't a massive thing. But now it seems like every kid who plays sports is in a travel sport. And I just know people who are involved in travel sports. I also know people who run a travel sports league, and it's a business. Like they're in it to make money in those aspects of the people who run them, right? And because of that, I get it. And it is beneficial and can be beneficial in certain aspects, but it's also very detrimental because I think most people don't understand the purpose of life. And because they don't understand the purpose of life, they think that they're being an amazing parent by letting their kids play these sports and putting them into it. Now, I would really love to know the hearts of many of these kids. I would probably say, just off the top of my head, that only about 60% of them actually want to play the travel sports. I guarantee probably at least 40% don't actually want to play the travel sports. It's their parents who are pushing them. And that's just what I've seen in the sports that I've been heavily involved in as well. It's more of the parents wanting the kids to do it rather than the kids actually wanting to do this. And so it's actually more detrimental in those aspects. And so I'm going to break this down in multiple different aspects of how and why it's detrimental, and get into the different aspects of marriage, of faith, and parenting in those aspects. I will touch a tiny bit on how you can possibly integrate this and make it doable, but even then it's playing Russian roulette. And so I'm going to touch into that as well. Shout out to my guy, Jim Kelly. If you guys don't know who Jim Kelly is, he's the Hall of Fame quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. I'm a massive Buffalo Bills fan. And even with that, that's the only sport I still watch. And it's just one Buffalo Bills game. And I really don't watch any other sports or any other NFL games outside of that. But anyways, he commented on this post and was championing that when I had put the post out about it. And he says, man, 100% agree. This is somebody who's a Hall of Fame quarterback. The best of the best is saying travel sports are detrimental to your marriage, to your faith, and to your family. And this is somebody that was the best of the best, right? And so I just want to let you guys know that's coming from the top of the food chain in sports, not from some dude who's Al Bundy and threw a high school touchdown game in their sectional championship. This is from the best of the best. And so this is something that I know is controversial in a lot of things, because I just want to let you know, there are a lot of parents who think they're being good parents, and I see you, but I also want you to really pay attention to this and don't want me to say like, oh, you're a bad person and you're intentionally doing that, because there's a big difference between intentionally doing something to hurt your family and yourself and your marriage and your faith, and actually doing it unmistakably. And that's where I know from coaching, most men have no idea that they're actually missing the mark as a husband. Most men have the idea that they're actually missing the mark as a father or as a son of God. Nobody's shown them and told them there's a revival happening and there's a reawakening happening. And that's honestly my whole purpose in life. That's why God knew me before I was in the womb and put me on earth, was to be able to preach the gospel passionately to lukewarm, docile, passive men who are missing the mark in leadership as husbands, as business owners, and as fathers in those. And the only reason I have authority in that is that was me. That was me. And so this is something hard. Travel sports are often the devil's gift to the modern Christian family. It looks good, feels good, sounds like opportunity, but it's pulling more marriages apart than most want to admit. So before I jump into these things, I'm just going to touch on something. One of the sports that was passionate for me that I did, traveled all over the place as a teenager, and then even as an adult, for me, that was BMX. And it's just the same thing as a travel sport, no different than baseball or soccer or any of those type of things that people do. There's no difference for it. And this is where my aspects of it lie, is my dad spent an awful lot of money buying me the best of bike parts and taking me to all these races all across the country and putting me in camps for it and all these other things. My dad worked his butt off. Respect to him for working his butt off, but disrespect to him also for working his butt off, because it cost him his mental health. It cost him his relationship with his kids, and it cost him his marriage in a lot of different aspects because of his overworking. and trying to be, one of those aspects was trying to be a good dad. That's not the only reason why he was overworking, but it was, he always provided in those ways. But the only thing I actually really wanted was his time at the end of the day. And so anyways, for me, it was BMX. And I just want to tell you that I even got to the pinnacle of it where I was the top ranked BMX rider for my age group in the whole United States. And when I finally got to that spot, guys, and I won arguably the biggest race in the world, it felt amazing. But at the same time, it wasn't worth the effort, the time, and everything to put into it. And I've watched so many families just be on the road and give so much and destroy their families for this type of things. And it's just, and the kids, I don't know, I don't want to go too down that. I've seen a lot of kids who could be better in a lot of different ways, and they're missing the mark in those. And so I just want to let you know, I went all in, traveled the world, spent an insane amount of money, dedicated my life to it, went, got it. And it was kind of like, eh. And when I finally got that number one plate, I think I raced the next year like one time. And I would have, if I got to race the whole year, I would have been able to use that number one plate all year. And I was kind of like, eh. And so I just want to encourage you guys, I've been there in my own shoes, like me personally been at the top of the ladder in the sport that I went all in on. So anyways, let's get into it. The problem, your home is out of order. God is not part of your schedule. He is your schedule. The biblical order of life is this: God first, self, marriage, kids, business. So many people get this wrong. I'm not going to touch too deep on this, but most people, they take their kids and they put them first, or they take their business first, right? Typically it's the men putting business first, and typically it's the wives putting the kids first. But sometimes the men are putting their business first to be able to provide for the family, get their wife all the nicest of things, and get their kids all these experiences. And at the end of the day, those experiences go away because God really has our money for one main thing: for encounters, to get other people encounters with God. And when you get other people encounters with God, you get to encounter God in a lot of new ways. But most people think that the money that they're making is from other things. They think it's number one, for possessions, number two, for security, and number three, for experiences, when those are not what it's for. Those are a couple of sprinkles on top. There's nothing wrong with having security. There's nothing wrong with having some possessions, and there's nothing wrong with getting experiences, but not at selling out your family and your on the altar of your business, or your kids on the altar, or your all of that, all your family and all the other aspects of the travel sports on the altar of your kids' sports. And so I just want to encourage you guys that it goes God, self, marriage, kids, business. When you have a deep relationship with God, with your life fully serves God, then you'll know your purpose for your life. Then you make sure you're mentally, spiritually, and physically on point. So you show up unexhausted, on point, full tank to a marriage, killing it, joyful, so vision, so clarity on it that things of this world are just falling off of you, that you show up with a full cup to the marriage. And then when you show up for a full cup to the marriage, your wife will do the same thing eventually after time. And then you guys are overflowing your cups onto your kids, and they get that. And then by the time you get to the business, it's just killing it. But when you take them out of order, what you're really doing is the kids are seeing parents that are arguing, frustrated, and society's going to tell you that that's just normal. Everybody has conflict. No, it's normal because that's what society says it is. That's not normal. Society says it's normal because everybody's failing in all different aspects. Obesity's at like 73%. Marriages are failing at 85%. And then people want to say it's normal just to justify their sin, justify these other aspects of their life. They're missing the mark. By the time you get to your business at number 5, you should be killing it in all those different aspects. So when you get your life in order, first and foremost, amazing things really happen. God, self, marriage, kids, business. It trickles down like that. It flows to it. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all of these things will be added to you. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow worry about itself. It's a perfect template. That's an order right there of that. When you got it backwards, you will worry about tomorrow because you got that order wrong. These things won't be added to you because God's not first and his righteousness is not. You might have nice things and your kids might have championships, but you're going to have a dead soul, a dead marriage, and your kids are going to be in a struggling spot when they get older, and they're going to repeat the exact same cycle that you are on right now. Ask yourself, if you just wake up every day like, yo, I can't believe this is my life. I'm so fulfilled. My marriage is killing it. My kids are killing it. My business is killing it. Nothing in this world bothers me. I'm so happy. I'm so on top of this world. That's how you should feel. No, but none of it has to do with your circumstances. Has all to do with what's going on in the internal because of your relationship with God. That's why that structure and that order works. When you do that, good things happen. But travel sports often flip this entire order. God gets leftovers, your marriage gets tension, you get drained, your kids get idolized, and your calling gets choked out. So here's what travel sports are really costing you. Number one, your marriage. Constantly on the go. Zero time to connect. Everything is about quality time. Quality time is everything about that. Quality time with God, quality time with your wife, and quality time with your kids, right? When was the last time you just got to sit there with your wife? No TV, no phones, no distractions, well, we can do that in the crowd as we're watching games and we're connecting. That's not terrible, but it's not ideal. When you have no distractions, you get in there and you get to soak it in. It's like praying in the middle of a rock concert and it's like, just know, like, you're not really going to be able to really just sit there in solitude with God. There's going to be distractions, or in the middle of New York City, right? Like, no, that's what it's like. And again, you need to have these moments to connect with your wife, because connection leads to love. But you know what connection starts with? Vulnerability. But before that is authenticity. And what's before that is a deep relationship with God. So a deep relationship with God leads to authenticity. Authenticity leads to vulnerability. Vulnerability leads to a connection. Connection leads to love. You thinking you're singing in stands, arm to arm with all these other things, you're going to tell your wife that you've really been struggling with porn and all these other things, or you've been telling her all these excitement. No, you're going to do that because people sitting all around you and those things, and you're not going to say it. You need to have time to connect, debrief, grow close. And when you have that, go listen to the intimacy podcast. You're going to start with spiritual, emotional, and then physical intimacy. Chances are many of you listening to this are struggling in physical intimacy. Go listen to the podcast that got released, that will come out right before this one or the week before. It has about on intimacy. I can't remember. Intimacy like never before, or something like that it's called. And it breaks down intimacy like never before. Emotional intimacy dies in busyness. Super hard to connect when you're drained and exhausted. Super hard to connect when you're on the go. Arguments over schedules become the norm. It's all about, we're running here, we're running there, we got practice here, we got practice there. And at the end of the day, you're trying to give each other the best to connect, but you're giving each other the last of yourself instead of the first of yourself, the best of yourself. No more date nights, no real rest, no deep talks. You think you're doing it for the kids, but the kids need your connection more than they need your convenience of driving them around and being their Uber drivers and taking them everywhere. They need you guys to have a phenomenal marriage. Show me a marriage that has a phenomenal marriage, and I'll show you a marriage that has phenomenal kids. And your definition of phenomenal and my definition, I'm going to be real with you, are different. A phenomenal marriage means you never argue. A phenomenal marriage means the spiritual intimacy is on point, the emotional intimacy is on point, the physical intimacy is on point. You guys are growing closer and closer every year, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. It just gets better and better and better. You can't wait to spend time with each other. Your spouse is your best friend. You don't care about hanging out with other friends because your spouse is just truly your best friend. All of that aspect, you guys are laughing and joking. You don't need all these possessions because you're just laughing and joking. Your life is so full of joy because you're so close to each other and so close to God, and your kids are killing it. It's crazy how this actually happens. But everybody wants to give their kids a better life than they had. You're not. I just want to let you know that right now. Just because they play on travel sports or they have more possessions, that doesn't mean you're giving them a better life. You're giving them better experiences, and experiences go away. Take that from somebody who's had millions of experiences in all different aspects of life. I was an adrenaline junkie, from sports to rapping on stages to sleeping with a ton of women to doing all the drugs in the book. Those experiences go away. One experience doesn't go away. The deeper relationship you get with God doesn't go away. And when you have that, you're so enough in Him that you get to bring your best self to your wife. And that connection doesn't go away. It actually grows. So you're growing in your sanctification with God, and you're growing together with Him, and you're growing together with your wife at the same time. Quality time with God, quality time with wife. And it just grows, and it gets better and better and better. So Your marriage, you're selling it out as it comes at a cost because you don't have time. You're on the road, you're all constantly traveling and all these other things. And I'm going to get into that in the habits in here in a few of why that will impact marriage as well. So next, and I'm just going to touch one more thing on marriage. Chances are you say your physical intimacy's off. Guarantee you don't really know each other. I promise you, I've done this long enough. I've worked with an insane amount of people. Most couples have no idea anything about their spouse, like the deep stuff. Surface level marriages. And you think you know them, but until you really get to know them, it's always going to be surface level. And surface level is thin ice, and thin ice cracks. So the next thing you sacrifice is your faith life. Skip Sundays, no time community, family prayer. You say you trust God, but your schedule says sports are more important. Show me somebody's schedule and I'll show you where their heart is. Mark 12:30, the number one commandment, Jesus says, love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. Does your schedule show that? Yes, church is important. I'd say it's probably the fourth most important on the list of the things. Prayer's number one. Being in the Word is number two. And then it comes down the line of all these other things. But it still is important. That's like saying, well, I got four wheels on the car. I don't think I really need the fourth lug nut on it, though. I already got three lug nuts on it. I don't think I need the fourth. It's like, no, it's that important. I trust four lug nuts on there instead of three. Get all four, because eventually it's going to fall off. No time for community. Being in community is so huge. I'm going to get down to these habits in a little bit, but that's massive. Sure, you can pray on the road, but what are you really praying? Powerful prayers? Or is the Spirit really moving with you? That's why people don't think healings happen these days, because people don't have faith of a mustard seed. But when you have faith of a mustard seed, you can tell a mountain to move and it'll move. That's biblical, right? Healing still happen today. You watch it, though, it's through people who have like insane faith. Why? Because God works through them, because they've made their faith so high that God will work through them and do these powerful things. So if we're praying, I'm still praying over my family. Yeah, chances are you're out at Applebee's and you say, hey, Lord, thanks for this food. And yeah, we love you and hope we have a great day tomorrow. And thanks for grandma's hip getting better. Boom. It's like, I'm not saying it's a bad prayer, but come on now. When you're speaking authority and power and declarations over your family and you're just speaking truths over them, you're casting out anything that's coming in attacks on them and all these things, and you're doing it at such a higher level. You're protecting your kids from this world, because if you're not protecting them, the world's going to come in and infect them. You protect them, the world will, and if you don't, the world will infect them. That's just the truth. So your faith life will die off. 2 Corinthians 3:17, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, well, you got to be able to bring that Spirit of the Lord as you. Ask you, is that Spirit of the Lord really with you? If your home feels chaotic, ask, where's the Spirit? Because nobody's life should be busy. Oh, it's just so busy. It's just so chaotic. Life is just so tough. No, you've made it tough. You've made it chaotic by just slamming all this stuff in it. Travel sports are making your life chaotic. On the road, stretching your finances, and a million practices. Your life is structured around that instead of structured around God. And lastly, the real impact is on your kids. And I'm going to get into some of these other things right now. They're going to really move the needle forward in some aspects and really be some eye openers. The real impact is on your kids. Your child doesn't need more trophies. They need to witness a marriage that thrives in a faith that burns. They need to witness a marriage that thrives in a faith that burns. Because what is caught is taught. All of our kids are listening and watching to everything we do. And you can think that they're not. I promise you they are. Just yesterday, I have a 14-year-old son, and he was playing video games with one of his friends. And I said this a few weeks ago, and we play a card game as a family every single night. I think there's maybe one night a week we don't. And if that's because they maybe were at youth group that night or something like that, we didn't get back in time. And so every single night we play some type of board game or card game. And I wasn't cheating. I just used it as a line on them. I said, man, he was like, you're cheating. And I said, man, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And I was totally joking with him, and he knows it, and was laughing with him. I just said that one time, right? No joke. I was in the other room yesterday and I heard my son weeks later, if not months, say to his friend, and they're playing a video game, and my son goes, "Man, if you're not cheating, you're not trying." And I was like, dude, and I told him later on, I was like, bro, and I broke it, and I talked to him about it. Here's the thing, they're listening. So when you're yelling at each other or arguing, they think that's normal. That's why society thinks that's normal. But the Bible says, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. I could go into a million verses opposing all of it. The society standards. Because life is going to come and punch your kids in the face. You can't protect them forever. Life will come and get them. I am setting them up, my kids, because we serve, as for me and my house, in Joshua where it talks about this, we serve the Lord. And because of that, I'm setting them up with a mission statement, with core values, with challenging them, with getting their mental, their physical, their spiritual, and their relational on point. So when they go out away from the home and they're no longer in our home, they're so far ahead of everybody else. And they'll know a standard of this will be my wife through these standards. They'll know their purpose in life. They'll know everything, and they'll be able to push into it, and life will come from them, and they'll be able to slap it off. But life's still going to come from them, and they'll have to learn that what dad showed them was real. Just like with wax on, wax off, Mr. Miyagi and Karate Kid. He didn't know what he was being taught until it came, and he knew how to do all those moves because he was sanding the floor, waxing the car, painting the fence. He knew how to do them. That's what we're teaching our kids. But are your kids learning that church is non-negotiable? Are your kids learning that being in the Word is non-negotiable? Are your kids learning that being in men's group is non-negotiable? Are your kids learning that arguing with your spouse is not normal? Are your kids learning all of these things? Because if they're not, what are they learning? The opposite. They're learning, give your kids everything. Work 1,000,000 hours, spend all your money on sports, and eventually they're not even going to play sports anymore. Doesn't mean that you don't want your kids to have good times. I was just speaking this the other day, and I might have spoke this on the last podcast. No joke, the things that fill my cup today are nothing that have to do with anything that my parents did for me as a kid, of riding bikes, riding quads, taking us on trips, doing anything like that. You know what my best things that fill my cup the most is pouring into other men. Just speaking the Holy Spirit. Just it happened again today. Another call that was insane. Holy Spirit was just ripping between me and this guy. This guy has taken so much territory, one of my clients. No joke. He said today, and I didn't even realize it because he wasn't even one of my one-on-one clients. He's in the program. In the last 9 months, he quit chewing tobacco. He quit masturbation. He quit cussing. And he lost over 40 pounds. He beat 4 things that the world can't do any of. How many people try to quit nicotine and fail? Majority. He did it. How many people can't stop watching porn and masturbating? He did it same time. Do 2 hard things at the same time. Oh, how about cussing? Oh, he did that as well. And this dude's like a cowboy rancher type guy. And in that scene is cussing a storm. And the last one, to lose 40 something pounds, how many people actually lose weight and keep it off? He did all 4. Because he did what we teach here. Get your order right, change your heart, and then you change your life. He's showing his kids that. But what if he just showed his kids, hey, I'm going to buy you quads, and I'm going to do all these other things, and I'm going to do all this and it's like, give you the best life I have, I'm going to work 80 hours a week. That's why he came to the program, is because he was working 80 hours a week, trying to provide the best living for his family. How'd that work out for him? Not good. How's it working out for him now that he's switched it all around? A lot better. He's going to teach his kids so much more. I'm tired of seeing kids focused on all this other stuff. When the lights fade and the uniform's gone, will they know who they are? Because I see this with professional athletes I've worked with, musicians, all the different things. Their identity is wrapped up in the thing rather than just realizing that this thing is just a branch on the tree. Travel sports, for most people, is the tree and not the branch. If you can keep it a branch, more power to you. But you are playing Russian roulette. So here's what we do. What high-level families do instead. They need to reestablish the order: God, self, marriage, kids, business. You don't run your life for schedules. You set your life on purpose. That is biblical. God first. Love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. It's the number one commandment. Number two commandment, Jesus says is love your neighbor as yourself. Key word is as yourself. When you actually love yourself, you can love other people better. So then the more you're able to love yourself, more mentally strong you are, more physically on point you are, more spiritually on fire you are. Guess what? You love yourself more, and you're able to give that much more love to the people. Well, who's the neighbor? Your wife, then your kids, then your business. Get your order right first. Next, establish spiritual rhythms in the home. These are not religious checklists. We're not Pharisees. These are spiritual weapons, weapons that protect you from the world that is coming for you. And if you don't think spiritual warfare is true, you are I guess the word I'm looking for, you don't understand. Misinformed. It's raging right now, all around you, spiritual warfare. So I do these things because God says these things are beneficial, so I do them. I'm like, and guess what? My heart's changed. When your heart changed, you can actually love on other people. I just taught my clients this last night on our group call, how to love your wife like Christ loves the church. There's a Bible verse on that, right? This is what frustrates me. It started from a walk that me and Diane were on Saturday, on this Sunday. We fast on Sundays. We're on a walk. It was 106 out. We're out on a walk, 45 minutes, middle of the day, and we're talking, and we're just, man, the Spirit is flowing. And guess what? I said, babe, this is what frustrates so many people. This is why so many people come into our program say that counseling and therapy actually made their life when their marriage worse, and that church marriage programs and conferences made them worse, because they're just saying, well, love your wife like Christ loved the church. All right, sweet. How do I do that? Well, you die to yourself, and you serve her and all these other things. Sweet. How do I do that long term? Because some people can do it for a week or two, but you can't do it long term. How do you do that? You change your heart. The reason why Jesus could love the church, like that verse says, is because his heart was pure. Most men's hearts are not there. They haven't been sanctified. They have conformed to the patterns of this world, as I did, as most men have. Their hearts are on money, and then not because they're just gluttonous in that. Their hearts are on that to provide for security, for possessions, experiences, and security. They think, and they're saving for retirement. You know, the word retirement in the Bible is not there. There is not even a Hebrew word for retirement, because there is no such thing. Does that mean you're going to pound nails for the rest of your life? No, that means you transition into the next thing. That branch of the tree is now done. There's a new branch on it that you're focused on. The tree is the middle. Love God, love others, create disciples of all nations. How do we do that? Via your talents and your testimony. That never goes away. There is no retirement. So we do these things I'm about to tell you. Check them. Can you do these things while you're run ragged? No. It's going to be very hard. They're going to be ineffective because you're just going to be squeezing them in and just checking the box rather than actually get beneficial on them. Number one, daily prayer, right? Like, are you spending that time with God and praying? Are you praying over other people? Number two, reading the word. Are you dissecting the word, not just reading a chapter in the Bible? And I mean a chapter, not just a Bible verse, a chapter, dissecting it and breaking it down. And wow, I can't believe this. And cross-referencing it with other things and letting it just blow your mind, sharpening you, protecting you. Are you in weekly community? Are you really in a brotherhood that's just strengthening you and has men who are doing all of these high-level things, who are committed to this life? Are you doing that? Hard to do that when you're run ragged. You'll skip it. You'll be like, man, it's been such a busy week. I really can't make it this week. I just can't make it this week. I'm so tired. It's been there. Oh, man, my son has practice, or we're on the road this week. Yep. Then guess what? You're not getting sharpened. And no, by doing that, you're not sharpening anybody else in that group who also depends on you being there to sharpen them. Are you taking a Sabbath? Because Sabbath is ridiculously beneficial. Does it have to be Sunday? No, but are you going to do it on another day? Chances are no. Solitude. Is solitude and stillness. Are you sitting in time with God alone? Jesus did it every morning, and I promise you, his mission was far greater than yours and far greater than travel sports, but he still spent that solitude with God. Do you not think he was busy? Do you not think everybody wanted his time? He went and sat in solitude every single morning with God, spent that time to get his instructions. God's the ultimate instructor. He giving him instruction. He's getting loved on. He's getting strengthened. He's getting filled up to then go out and do his mission more effectively and all of that. That's how come I can work far less and to take far more territory. I used to have to work 1,000,000 hours and actually didn't take much territory. Now I work way less, have far more time for God, my family, my kids, and to sharpen other men because of my solitude time with God. And he's just given me all the wisdom and that to be able to conquer and take territory fast. Fasting. Are you fasting? Are you actually fasting? No, you're probably on the road eating like crap, or you're so busy that you're eating out all the time. Hence, how's your health? Are you physically fit? Just be real with yourself right now. Would somebody look at you and go, this guy is in great shape? Because that is biblical. Take care of your temple. And there's multiple verses on this, honoring it. It's a hard one, but can you do that? Are you doing that? Tithing. Are you able to give 10% is the bare minimum, but being a joyful giver is above and beyond? Can you do that? Well, most men I know say, oh man, I don't have the finances for that. Yeah, because you're playing travel sports. Because you're playing travel sports on the road and all your money is going to that. Eating out, hotels, equipment, sports fees, all the different stuff. Are you witnessing and serving to other people and your family? Are you setting that standard and example of this is what it likes to serve the Lord? Because when you serve the Lord, therefore do not worry about tomorrow, worry about self. Life should not be stressful and full of anxiety and fear, because God doesn't give you a spirit of fear. When you have anxiety, you're saying you don't trust God. That's the truth. If you don't trust God, it means you don't really know him. But I guarantee there's somebody in life that you probably trust wholeheartedly with your life. But do you trust God with your life? I can say yes. And I've proven it time and time again. And the more I've proven it time and time again, the wilder things that God's been doing in my life, because he knows I trust him. So I'm obedient, and obedience leads him to doing bigger and bigger things in your life. It's the reason why Joshua and Caleb were the only two to get to go in the promised land. Because they were obedient and they trusted and had no fear. All the other Israelites had anxiety and fear. Do you have anxiety and fear? That's why I love Joshua 24:15. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Not the game, not the schedule, not the sports, not the trophies, not the experiences for our kids. The Lord. I serve the Lord, not experiences for my kids. I want my kids to be able to wake up and say, I'm fulfilled, no matter the circumstances. I have no anxiety. I have no stress. I have no fear. That's a championship. Not a trophy that's going to get thrown in the trash. I literally had probably 100 trophies from when I was a kid. I remember the day I went to the dump and I threw them all in the dump. Do you know what never gets thrown in the dump? The Lord. He's the only thing I care about. Because of that, I'm able to love other people insane amount. The next thing, your physical health is spiritual. Most men are exhausted. When you're exhausted and your wife is exhausted, you make poor choices. Physically, it's running your body down. Mentally, you make poor choices. Whether it's your mood is off point. So whether you're doing more sinful things, everybody knows they make poor choices when their mood is off, whether that's eating or sinful things. They argue more with each other. Exhaustion is the enemy of purpose. You're no good to your wife, kids, or your calling when you're drained. You need to be having a full tank at all times. You need to be the guy that's not playing offense, defense, special teams, is the trainer, the head coach, and all of the things at the same time. You're exhausted. But what if you're that third down defensive end that gets in the game and just can wreck shop because he's so full of energy, he hasn't been running ragged? That's the type of guy we need to be. I'm seeing it. I'm in a spot with my ministry where I have 9 people working for us now. I could do most of those positions still myself. And guess what? I would be far richer in a certain financially world. But For the meantime, scale-wise, it wouldn't work because everything that God's shown me in the past few months, because I've had the time to actually pour into him more, he's given me crazy things on those things, and he's actually blessing more and more because I'm putting him first. I'd have nothing for my family and nothing for my kids. I would still show up, but I would be present, but I wouldn't be present because I'd be drained. I know you feel that. I know you feel that. You're either leading your home with fire or watching it slowly flicker out. This is why everybody goes through midlife crises. This is why marriages are failing. This is why everybody's obese. It's because they're just trying to do all the things of this world, experiences, and possessions and security. So, can travel sports be done well? Man, it is a slippery slope. I would say it's like playing Russian roulette with 4 bullets out of the 6 in the chamber. You would have to have clear, such solid rock foundation in who you are, where God's telling you, and you would have eliminated and delegated your life in so much that you're really only working maybe 15 hours a week at your job. And because of that, you still have your time for the men's group. You're still at church. You're still doing all those things. You're willing to skip games. You've made your sacrifices and told the coach you won't be at all the practices. And here's those things. And unless you can be at the practices in the game, that you have gone to church on, like if a church service is on Thursday night, you're using that as your Sabbath. And because of that, you're getting your quality time with your wife in, quality time with the Lord. Your physical fitness is on point from earlier in the day. You spent quality time with your kids, and your kids have all of that same structure. Maybe they're homeschooled, so they're able to do this. Yes, it's possible, but it starts with you being so clear on your mission and purpose and your family mission statement, your family's core values, having a family meeting, checking in, and being able to have the time to be able to do this. Majority of the people have not got their life to be able to be at that spot. I have seen, there's a guy who's in my program who does do travel sports with his family. He has 200 and something employees. He's physically fit. He's spiritually on fire, and he does travel sports, but he's at that last little spot with it where he's considering moving out of it. They're making it work for sure, but it's still like any day it could crack, right? But he's winning. So we have to be very, very careful on it. You need to make sure you're more focused on discipleship than Division I scholarships. Be more focused on discipleship than Division I scholarships. Can you disciple people by having a Division I scholarship? Absolutely. But you have to know that that's from God. You have to get the A-OK from God that he says, yes, go do sports. Yes, put your kid in these things. My thing is this. Why don't we go back to playing high school sports? Our city rec leagues on that and just making those dope. Keeping the family strong. You know why we don't? Because the devil doesn't want the family strong. The devil isn't always just going to ruin your family through porn and alcohol and drugs. You know where he's going to do it from? He's going to do it from things like travel sports, because it will cause distraction, busyness, and exhaustion. And when that happens, all these other things start cracking. Sometimes it's through worldly success. Being high level has very little to do with your bank account. Because P. Diddy, guess what? That dude's a billionaire. Would you consider him high level? No. But dude's a billionaire. Has worldly success. How's that working out for him? How's that working out for him? It's not that travel sports are evil. It's that without mission, they become the idol that slowly breaks your home. My ultimate truth on this is the best if the country goes back to the town sports and not travel. Have your kids dominate that, guys. I promise you, give God something to work with. Put them in there. If your kids are killing it, those areas, they're going to still get noticed, and they'll go to the next ones. They'll be at the high school and all those things. They'll be noticed. Are you doing it for your kids, or are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it for yourself because you want to be a better dad than what you had? You know what a better dad than what you had needs to be? It's with your order right. God, self, marriage, kids, business. Being so close with God, so on fire with him, so not exhausted and just on point mentally, physically, and relationally and spiritually. Having your marriage be a 10 out of 10. Spiritual and emotional and physical intimacy at a 10. Growing better with your wife. Letting your kids see all of that. And because of all that, by the time you get to your finances, you're killing it. That's Matthew 6:33. All these things will be added to you. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. These things will be added to you. This is a tough one, guys. What your kids see you prioritize now will become their default later. If they see travel sports come before church, be no surprise when adulthood comes and God's nowhere in their life. Because they'll see, my parents seem like they have it together. They provided, sports for us, and they're still married, or they're divorced now, but they got a new spouse, and these things, and it's like, my kids know that God's real. They're seeing crazy things happening, and they see a marriage slaying it, and we're setting them up. Are we perfect? I still got some room to grow as a parent, for sure. I got room to grow in all aspects of life. We all do. But my compound effect is getting crazy big. Let's get yours there too. You're not raising athletes. You're raising disciples. You're not just building their resume. You're shaping their soul. So guys, love ya. If this hits home for you, please, we just ask that you rate this 5 stars. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you want coaching, click the link below. If not, just keep listening to this. Much love, guys.